Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your Chelsea versus Crystal Palace Premier League match preview. It's the first Premier League preview of the season off of the back of an incredible night in Belfast on Wednesday night where Chelsea lifted the Super Cup, beating Villarreal in a penalty shootout with Kepa Arrizabalaga making that decisive save. It's been a very busy week. If you haven't seen the Chelsea news video that was uploaded this morning and you're too excited for today's game and you want to keep the Chelsea energy and rhythm going, you should go check that video out, link in the description or somewhere as a card on the screen. Crystal Palace in the Premier League. This is a nice start to the season. It's a 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff. I don't remember the last time we actually played at 3 p.m. on the opening weekend. Someone let me know in the comments down below. But Palace, it's always an interesting one against Palace because you never know what you're going to get. They're going to bring some great fans to Stamford Bridge. We know that. Crystal Palace are always very loud. They're very vocal. They have a new manager in Patrick Vieira and nobody knows how this one's going to go. Mark Guehi has just signed from Chelsea and maybe he's going to start for them today. It will be very interesting to see because I think Mark Guehi is a phenomenal defender and I think at one stage or another Chelsea will look at it and potentially regret selling him this summer to a Premier League side. So in the last 16 matches between Chelsea and Crystal Palace, Chelsea have won 12 and Crystal Palace have won 4, which basically means this ain't going to be a draw. I think that the confidence Chelsea will have off the back of that Super Cup game is going to be massive. You know, Chelsea at the moment are on a massive high. When your last 2 competitive matches you've played, you've lifted European trophies, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that regardless of any fitness worries that might have come as a result of playing 120 minutes plus penalties of football just a couple of days ago, at this moment in time, I think Chelsea are going to be on such a buzz that the fact that we're missing Hakim Ziyech, N'Golo Kante is a major doubt. I don't think it's going to play up too much. A lot of people are worried that because of how much football we played on Wednesday night, Crystal Palace with fresh legs might come in here and cause an upset. I've always alluded to the fact that Palace are a team, a banana skin, that you can never disregard, that you can never write off. And if they turn up, it's going to be a very difficult afternoon for Chelsea today. But I think with the squad that we have and just Ziyech and Kante missing and of course Lukaku missing too, I think there is more than enough quality within this Chelsea team to get the job done this afternoon and pick up 3 points in the opening weekend of the season. The good news for Crystal Palace is 3 of their best players are in fact injured. Eze, the winger, the man who was setting the Championship alight and had a good debut season last year, he's unavailable, and also Michael Elise, who's a decent striker. Patrick Vieira will not be able to call upon them. And of course, Conor Gallagher, who's on loan from Chelsea, he's not going to be able to play either, which I'm delighted about because he's tenacious. And I think if there is any tired legs that were within that Chelsea midfield from the other night, I think Conor Gallagher is one of those guys that could have punished some of those Chelsea players. So that is also good news. And the omens are also pretty good for Chelsea in this one too. We've beaten Palace in all of the last 7 games we've played against them. And in the last 3, we've beaten them with scoring at least 3 goals too, which is absolutely fantastic. So without any further ado, we are going to make my first Chelsea FC Premier League team of the season. And it's a tough one again. Like I mentioned, we played a Super Cup match on Wednesday night. However, again, I'm bringing it back to the buzz. I'm bringing it back to the fact that the last 2 competitive games that Chelsea played, we lifted a European trophy at the end of them. I think the confidence is going to be so high, and we begin with a man who came off with grace in midweek thanks to just, well, you know, Kepa Arrizabalaga making the save, thanks to Edouard Mendy and the fact that he's just knows his role in this team. You know, he knows that Kepa's a better penalty saver. I've said it here on the channel before. I've seen Mendy try and save penalties and he doesn't seem to be the best at it. We can't do it in the Premier League, but in that situation it works. But Edouard Mendy, what I loved about his performance against Villarreal the other night is that there were shaky moments, which you would expect at this stage of the season. He kicked the ball, slipped over, gives it straight to a Villarreal player. Villarreal, a very, very good precise team. They're very quick. The ball comes in, Moreno shoots, and it's a brilliant save from Mendy to tip it onto the post. Rectifying an error within seconds of making it is the sign of a top quality goalkeeper. And Edouard Mendy, despite Kepa's heroics, keeps his place as Chelsea number 1. It was pretty much confirmed by Tuchel in his interview yesterday. He's saying that Mendy's the number 1 and he was very delighted with the way that Edouard Mendy came off the field. We move into a centre-back 3. Azpilicueta is going to start in the right centre-back position, Christensen central, and Tony Rudiger on the left. I keep bringing it back to the minutes played on Wednesday. I'm going to try not to do so. But with this game against Palace, it is a tough one because I want to put Reece James in the side. But at the same time, he wasn't fit enough to feature in the game on Wednesday. And I just wonder if he's going to be ready for this one too. I've put Callum Hudson-Odoi in the right wing-back position with Ben Chilwell coming back in at left wing-back. I know that Chilwell and James came back at the same time. Marcus Alonso, I just think that Chilwell is going to be very, very useful for Chelsea in this game. I think despite Alonso's brilliant performance against Palace, he played so much football that night that Ben Chilwell's going to have to come back in and regain his place. So Chilwell on the left, Hudson-Odoi on the right. I would have put Reece James there, but I just think that Callum, he looked bright at moments in the game against Villarreal. In the first half, I just wanted to see him take on players a little bit more. He was linking up so well with Hakim Ziyech in the first 38 minutes of the game. And then as it drew on, he got a bit too cautious again, which is something that I always say about Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think if he really just grabs that ability that he has, with the confidence to go forward, to run at players, he'll be skinning people left, right and centre. And I think he'll give the Crystal Palace defence absolute nightmares if he starts this game today. And I hope that he does get the opportunity, because I think Callum Hudson-Odoi this season, with Chelsea it not looking likely that we're going to deviate away from the three at the back system, I think Callum obviously wants to stay. Thomas Tuchel wants him here. It's been made pretty clear all pre-season that Callum Hudson-Odoi will remain at Chelsea this season. And I think in order for Callum to get more minutes, he's going to have to adapt to this right wing-back position better. I don't think it's an issue of defensive work rate, but I think he's really got to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and actually make more runs, make more decisive movements going forward. And I think he's got one of the hardest jobs on the pitch, to be quite honest. The sun's coming up a little bit too much now. It's a little bit too bright, so I'll lean forward ever so slightly. I think Callum he has an important role, because it's not easy to be a bombing forward wing-back or natural winger like he is, and then also do the defensive duties too. But I believe he's got the ability to do so. We move into the centre of the midfield. N'Golo Kante was confirmed as a major doubt for this game, which is a little bit worrying, but for that reason, we know that when Kante picks up little niggles, it can be a problem for Chelsea Football Club. So for that reason, I've put Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic in the centre. There was an idea in my head that we could have seen Mount drop a bit deeper and then maybe see Pulisic, Havertz and Werner as the front three. But I think Thomas Tuchel will want to keep it a bit more secure. As long as Kovacic and, Jorginho shouldn't need much time to recover, but as long as Kovacic is feeling good after that game the other night, then I think he should start. I think Kovacic started the game very well against Villarreal and then got very sloppy as the match drew on. But of course, it was Chelsea's first competitive fixture of the season. We never expected perfection from that Super Cup game on Wednesday night. And I think both Georgie and Kovacic, the Jovetic partnership that it was labelled as at times last season, we know it is more than good enough to get the job done. Now, I've already kind of alluded to my front three. Christian Pulisic, I was umming and ahhing about putting him in. As I said, I was thinking of putting Mount in the centre alongside Jorginho. But then Pulisic disappointed me the other night. I was not impressed with what Christian Pulisic was doing. I thought he was indecisive. I thought he looked sloppy, not at the pace. So for that reason, despite all of the minutes that they played, Kai Havertz starts, Timo Werner starts, and so does Mason Mount. I think it's an exciting Chelsea team. I think all of those front three, including Mason Mount, to be honest, everybody needs to prove a point. There is so much competition for places. Thomas Tuchel pretty much confirmed that Hakim Ziyech's injury isn't a major one. He's not going to be out for a long time. So in a couple of weeks, Hakim Ziyech, Chelsea's informed player in pre-season, will be back, and Thomas Tuchel will be looking to put him back in the side. So for Mason Mount, Timo Werner, and Kai Havertz, they've got a big job to do today, and I think that we will get the job done. I said it in my Premier League predictions video where I predicted all of the games over on GBFC 2. I think Chelsea will win, and I think the buoyance of the club right now with the Lukaku signing, 2 trophies in the last 2 games, I just think we're going to be on a roll. I think we might steamroll Palace today. I'm going to go Chelsea 3, Crystal Palace 0. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think with the chances that we create, I think we're going to convert more this season. And I think a lot of that will be down to the pressure for places and people trying to stake claims to begin and remain in the side week on week. But anyway, let me know your Chelsea team to face Crystal Palace in the comments down below. As always, 6 Things We Learned will be uploaded straight after the game tonight. I hope you guys are excited for the first 6 Things We Learned of the Premier League season. Chelsea are back. The Premier League is back. Good old Brentford, top of the league. Let's see if Chelsea can take it from them later. Come on, you Blues.